What's up, everyone? How you doing? Today's topic for the video is going to be therapy. I've been going to therapy for the past probably 3 years now, and there's a lot of things that I've learned and there's a lot of things that I have discovered that I did not expect through therapy. First of all, the reason why I started going to therapy is during the pandemic I had a lot of anxiety and panic attacks, and my wife was going to see a therapist, and one day she said, "You should join me." And I said, okay. When I got to therapy, I expected the therapist to lay me down on the couch and ask me questions like, how do you feel? What things have been traumatic in your life? And then she would eventually chalk up to being my parents being the problem. But that wasn't the case at all. It was actually a really pleasant experience. It was a very cozy, welcoming environment. When I got into the building, she said, "Hey, do you want to have some coffee? We have tea or water or a snack." And I was like, well, you know, I'll take some coffee. And then when we got into the room, my wife started doing most of the talking for herself. And I just kind of listened and saw how they interacted with each other. And I was kind of taken aback, but in a good way. The questions that the therapist asked were not too invasive. They weren't really hard to answer even, but one simple question kind of spread a bunch of like paths to just multiple answers and multiple questions going off of that. And as they continued talking, eventually she said, "Morgan, you seem more comfortable now than you did when you walked in. Can I ask you a couple questions?" And I said, "Sure." The questions she asked me weren't invasive either. She just kind of wanted to know my background of what I did for work, how I was doing with being on anxiety medication at the time, and wanted to kind of know just who I was as a person, which is totally easy to do. So she had written some notes down as I talked about myself, and she even showed me what she had written down, and it gave me a chance to kind of say, no, let's not talk about that. Okay, we can talk about that. But she was just kind of just giving herself a basis of who I was as a person. She also made it very abundantly clear that whatever I had said to her obviously was not going to be judged. I could have said, I have 15,000 stuffed penguins in my closet because I love penguins, and she would have been like, that's great, and left it at that. So as I have gone through therapy for the past 3 years now, I mean, I don't even know honestly when I went. It was just the whole pandemic time was such a blur. But I have gone from where I had to meet her every Friday for probably 2 years straight, and then as of, well, 2.5 years I guess, and recently I've been going only once a month because I've been getting that much better. So looking back on it, therapy was never actually a scary event, and it was not something that I ever dreaded going to. It's actually one of the highlights of my week, and now it's the highlight of my month. I love going to therapy, just going to talk to my therapist about what's going on in my life and how I can kind of work to become a better version of myself. We do get to talk a lot about work and my past life as a child, and we kind of figure out what happened back here to why I am today. And it's funny how like stuff I did when I was in kindergarten is still affecting me to this day when I'm an adult. Something as simple as like if I get very uncomfortable if I don't know something, like if someone's explaining a topic to me and I'm not getting it, I would become very frustrated and overwhelmed, but I don't show it. I just become very uncomfortable physically, and I just kind of like shut down, but I also don't shut off, if that makes any sense. There's a lot that we can go into about therapy, but I just want to let you know therapy is not scary. In fact, I highly recommend people go to therapy if you get the chance to. It's actually not as expensive as people may make it out to be. Insurance can cover a good portion of your therapy. If you can't afford going to therapy because you may not have insurance, there are other options out there. I've never used BetterHelp, but I have heard a lot of great things about it, and a lot of people endorse it. Just scrolling through like subreddits, people have used BetterHelp and they have a lot of good reviews, and it seems as if like if you get matched with a therapist and you don't vibe with them very well, it sounds like you can say, hey, thank you, but no thank you, go to the next one, and then you get eventually paired with someone that fits who you are and who you're most comfortable with. The fact that you can kind of pick and choose your therapist is what makes probably BetterHelp even better. I know that sounds cheesy, but you know, I've never used it, I've never had to, but I imagine it's a great tool to have. Therapy isn't something that you should be ashamed of. If you are going to therapy, it's because you're trying to better yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you are seeing a therapist and you may be too afraid to kind of get dark and deep with them, that's okay. I'm pretty sure they'll understand, but I'm also pretty sure that they've heard worse than what you may have to say. It can be scary kind of putting your feelings out there to someone that you don't know, but once you kind of build a relationship with them, going to therapy is therapeutic. But honestly, there's nothing scary about going to therapy. I've been doing it for a long time. I don't even know how long it is. I've changed the number like 5 times in this video, but I am going to continue going until my therapist probably retires. And then from then I'll have to find a new therapist and keep going from there. But it's something that I can do, somewhere I can go to be a better person, gain some tools, gain knowledge to help myself work through this world, work through this life, and try to be somewhat sane. So if you guys have any questions about therapy, you can drop the questions down below in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them. I'm willing to be an open book on this subject that may or may not be talked about very much. So please do not hesitate to ask any questions. And while you're down there, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be more topics of mental health as I continue this journey on YouTube. And I want to just kind of educate people on mental health and pretty much whatever I want. And doing videos is actually helping me mentally become healthier. It's a way to express myself, and I really enjoy getting to make a video and help people out. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all the people who have subscribed and been viewing my YouTube shorts and my videos in the past week. And I really appreciate the support, even though it's very minimal of just likes and views. That's great. It's really making me feel like I'm kind of doing something right and doing something good. And I'm not being very selfish, because I don't want to be. So thank you again. And guys, I will see you next time. Y'all take care. Crush this week and have a great day. Peace.